Alright, time to run a fade when it comes to RWBY again. Now, obviously, we talked a lot about RWBY recently and just in general, but when it comes down to things, I do want to mention something that I feel like I've said before, but want to go into higher detail. And obviously, like I said before, I don't really care for a lot of the writing of RWBY just in general because I just don't like how it's presented and how it is. But the main reason I would say that that is the case is mainly because Team RWBY and just really anybody within the show itself doesn't feel human. What do I mean by that? Essentially, when you have a show full of a different bunch of cast of characters, usually at some point in time, they do have a mission that they need to complete at the end of their series or whatever, but at the very same time, usually you have them have human moments, basically having fun, having an enjoyable time, even if there's, things on the line at the moment. Still never really forgetting how they are and who they are at the end of the day, which Team RWBY don't really have. If you look at the majority of RWBY as a whole, a lot of the times they do not have really fun and just cheerful moments like that. A lot of the times they are just serious and just only trying to be, progressing the plot, even though that's just like the main thing. And yes, that is important. It's important to also have those human moments, which is a shame why RWBY doesn't have fan service. And no, I'm not talking about the stupid ass clothes that they wear half the time. I mean like actual fan service moments that shows them to be a bit more human. The only fan service moment that we had in the show ever, or at least it feels like, is when they did the whole food fight back in season 2. That's quite literally the only time where we've seen them actually become more than just serious protagonists. They are literally people of the younger variety. They're teenagers essentially. And you mean this, you really think from me to expect to think that they're just serious all the time and act like mature as adults in every little bit of decisions that they do? No, that's not how that, I wouldn't think that's how that works. In fact, they are probably the most opposite of literally anybody in that age range of protagonists ever. Like, does Sora be serious like thousands of times over? No, this man be goofy as hell sometimes, but he can still lay down the actual serious moments when he needs to, but he isn't just serious all the time. Black Butler, literally CL is 100% serious, but the world that he's in tries to make him unserious at times, and sometimes he has to play along, even if it's just for, joking around purposes, he still plays along and that's just how it is. Even when he plans shit out with other people, it's sometimes not serious when it comes down to how they go about it. Again, with the aforementioned Rand Mal video that we did recently, do you think this shit is supposed to be serious when it comes down to like, how they go about shit? No, this is just literally how they are. They're showing their human side of themselves, honestly. So when it comes down to it, it's okay to have characters to be, serious, but also at the very same time, it's really important to show that they can also be human characters. And I ain't talking about the small little moments between Blake and Yang and all that whack shit that you call humor. I mean actual moments, just like, again, the season 2 food fight, honestly. They haven't been humans for a long ass time. Which doesn't surprise me as to why half of the RWBY fandom want people to just create, RWBY adult content all the damn time. Because, hell, if they're not gonna act human in the show, they might as well just act human in fan works and stuff like that, right? And to be real with you, I 100% understand it. If I were to really compare RWBY to any other show out there, and really a show that's really similar, I would probably say Steven Universe, if anything. Steven does a lot of serious stuff, but even with Steven, they know how to at least give these characters time to effing breathe, something that RWBY doesn't effing do. Like the time when Garnet was literally trying to just do more, predictability of the future type thing and just trying to do random stuff that she normally wouldn't do, which is by far my favorite episode of Steven Universe just in general. But when it comes down to it though, they know how to at least in the slightest bit make them human in some shape and form. But RWBY don't have that. And funny enough, even though Steven Universe in my opinion is very similar to RWBY, just a bit more mature on RWBY's side, still nonetheless, they just don't give them that time to breathe. It's not filler when it comes down to that. And well, yes, you can use it for filler. At times, it would just be nice to see them be something else in what they currently just do. Hell, a great example of a game that really just show a really serious situation, but their characters still do whatever, is Final Fantasy VII. And I do mean it, especially within Rebirth, because even though you are trying to chase down this crazy ass experimental maniac that's about to blow up the damn earth with a whole ass meteor, we still go to the beach and have fun with Tifa and them. We still go out to the damn golden saucer and do this big ass dance number and just play with a lot of damn rides and different types of amusement park things that's there. Even though Sephiroth himself even said, yo, enjoy your moment, take your time. Literally, the main effing person that we're trying to stop is literally telling Cloud, yo, take your effing time. It is what it is. That shows you that, you know, when it comes down to it, characters should be able to sit the hell down and just chill for a minute. And you can sit here and argue with me and say that, well, RWBY has like moments in the show where they sit down and talk about stuff all the time. Well, that's not good enough, man. And and really ask me this, are they having fun in those moments? Are they discussing anything that's fun and not plot heavy? Okay then, what would be better, and they should have done this in the earlier seasons, just like they did with season 2, they really should have just let them do typical anime trope ass things, like a damn beach episode. Yeah, for a bit of boobage, because also, just to check this in real quick, because I still cannot believe this shit, how you have all these female characters in this damn show, them being the main focus, and being inspired by anime, yet doesn't necessarily do the same damn tropes as anime does at certain points in time. I ain't saying we need to see, you know, Fire Force levels of fan service. I ain't saying we need to see High School DxD levels of fan service when it comes to these characters, but there ain't no damn way you have these female characters come through and then literally do nothing with these characters in some crazy shape and form. We all have, as humans, some type of weird ass immoral thoughts when it comes to just the female body or just the male body, or when it comes down to it, right? There's always going to be a thought that lingers in our head. And you mean to tell me not a single person on that team that made this damn show didn't have a single thought about these characters, even when it comes down to the romance shit that they put in? You mean to tell me there's not a single moment of that? So I ain't saying we need to see RWBY just on a stripper pole in a strip club, which I would not deny myself for wanting to see that, but at the very same time, it will be nice if we see just a bit of titty jiggle from Yang, or a bit of ass shakeage from Blake or some shit, right? I'm just saying, right? People often would say when in arguments like this that, oh, their clothes is like the most fan service thing. And I'm gonna be real honest with you, clothes are just clothes. Madaka said it best herself. When it comes down to it, yes, clothes can definitely be scandalous, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything with the character, then what the hell does it matter? It really doesn't. I ain't saying we need to make a big deal out of it, but holy shit would that make their characters, you know, more human-like when it comes down to it. Because they're like, what, teenagers in RWBY, and when it comes down to it, you mean to tell me ain't no one having a raging hormone or some shit like that, or just straight up wanting to do some crazy wilding thing? I don't believe you. And all that shit tells me is that I should probably believe all the alternate universes and fanfic version of them characters than what the actual show does officially. And you know what the sad part is? Even if they were to try to put something like that into RWBY now, at the end of the day, it's not really gonna matter, because you should have did this in the previous effing volumes. You should have kept that shit up when it came down to it, instead of just doing bad attempts at humor and just not giving these characters room and time to breathe at all, right? So at the end of the day, it's not necessarily gonna matter in the end of things, and really shouldn't even be attempted, because it will just feel a bit jarring if you just did it now. And now, even looking back at just what RWBY has been through as a brand, they have their own anime and they don't have anything regarding like something crazy of fan service. Like, none whatsoever. Even in the manga that they have, literally no type of fan service to be found whatsoever that is like true real deal fan service. Hell, even when you had Blaze Blue cross tag battle, literally when it came to that game, you had Persona there, you had, you know, the Blaze Blue universe, you had the Under Night universe. Most likely there is some character in there that has done something or has been in some type of lewd conversation or some type of thing in some shape and form in their universes, but RWBY's like the only one that feels like the odd ones out. Not necessarily saying again that they need to have it all the time, but it's like to show these characters that they are more than what they do in the show. You don't have that, which is why I kind of always found them a bit weird again, just to be in such a game like a Blaze Blue cross tag. But the point is, maybe all this stuff is just stemming from the fact of the writing. Maybe it just stems from the fact that, you know, they just didn't want to do anything like a lot of anime shows does or whatever. Maybe just some other weird piece of information that's out there when it comes down to how they go about certain things. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it definitely would help them if they were to show that they can be human, not just through, you know, the romance moments that is horribly done, because majority of Western writing when it comes to romances is trash and doesn't really hit hard as they should. You know, take Sonic Archie for like when Ken Penrose was writing on that shit, for example. But when it comes down to it, a lot of the damn time it just doesn't hit hard and it's not really necessary, you know. And at the end of the day, RWBY, in terms of like character, you know, how they use their characterization and really just the show in general, it's just another minus in RWBY's whole franchise and brand, just to show that these characters don't really have a personality outside of plot. They don't really have anything going for them if there is no plot, which is unfortunate and sad, and it's a damn shame that you have, again, conceptually, these characters actually being worth something, actually could matter in some shape or form, only for you to never give them the proper way of how they should be acting. And it just feels weird. And again, you wonder why there are so many different AU universes, why there are so many different RWBY fanfics, or why is there so many different just types of fan work material out there that, you know, uses RWBY in different types of ways, instead of people actually looking towards the main show and liking just what the main show does. Because even the fandom, even on the side of people that are hardcore fans, probably know the truth that when it comes down to RWBY characterization, they could be better, and they just choose not to make them better for whatever reason. So that is also another thing. But that's essentially what I really wanted to say for this one. It doesn't surprise me that this is the reason why RWBY has so much Rule 34 now. At least like 30,000 of it. It ain't Overwatch levels, because Overwatch has like 100,000, but still nonetheless, you know, it doesn't surprise me as to why you only see RWBY Gentai on your timeline on Twitter and not really many people talking about it, or at least it's like a 50-50 when it comes down to it. But again, that's really all I want to say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow on the socials, and like to donate to the channel. Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's the boy Jay, signing off. Have a say.